Take a look at this clip from the original Iron Man released in 2008. Now take a look at this clip from Avengers Infinity War released in 2018. Notice anything? The CGI kinda sucks. But why is this? Why is the quality of Marvel's CGI slowly going downhill? Let's break it down. Before we get into the rest of this video, I just want to say a disclaimer. I'm in no way trashing on the CGI artists. I know all the hard work and effort that gets put into these movies and TV shows, and usually when it's bad CGI, it's not their fault. It's due to time constraints. But more on that later. Now let's go back to that first clip. Look at how intricately the metal pieces are forming together perfectly. And look at the detail in Iron Man's helmet. Now look at the clip in Infinity War. It just is not nearly as detailed, and it just looks kinda cartoonish. Let's take a look at another example. This is probably the most recent example. The infamous floating head in Thor: Love and Thunder. This thing looks like something straight out of a Spy Kids movie. Bruh. Now look at this scene from Black Widow. The green screen looks so bad. It doesn't even look like they're really in the environment, and it totally brings you out of the movie. And finally, probably one of the most famous examples is the final battle in Black Panther. This looks like something straight out of a video game. The characters are just fully CG and they just don't look real. But why is this happening? Well, I think there's two pretty big reasons for this. First, Marvel's overuse of CGI. Uses CGI for everything, and I mean everything. So many of their movies, almost every single shot has CGI in it, but sometimes they don't really need to. Take Matt Reeves' Batman movie. They had a budget of $185 million, and they perfectly blended CGI with practical effects, and it looked phenomenal. And then you have Black Widow, which had a budget of $200 million, and it looks significantly worse because Marvel used so much CGI and barely any practical effects. The Batman used a real Batmobile in a real Batcave, and Black Widow is just filmed on a big blue screen or green screen, and it just doesn't look real. But why is overusing CGI bad? Well, it just gives so much more work to the CGI artists, and sometimes they can't put their full time and energy into the CGI since they have to get through so many shots, making the CGI severely downgraded. The overuse of CGI is a factor into why the CGI is bad, but let's get on to the real reason, which is Marvel's quantity over quality. If you look at Marvel's Phase 5 slate, they have so many new movies and TV shows coming out. And that means the CGI artists are doing so much more work in like half the amount of time. Let's take a look at this graph. In Phase 1, you had 12.4 hours of runtime. In Phase 2, 12.7 hours. In Phase 3, 24.9 hours. And in Phase 4, a whopping 59.5 hours so far. And we haven't even seen all of She-Hulk and all the other shows coming out. This is insane because it's making the CGI artists have to work so much harder to produce all these films and TV shows in such a short amount of time. And you can see that wear and tear in the CGI. Just take a look at this CG artist and what he had to say. Marvel has probably the worst methodology of production and VFX management out there. The artists working on Marvel shows are definitely not paid equivalent to the amount of work they put in. And that's not the only person speaking out. So many VFX artists are leaving Marvel due to this situation. So how do you fix this? How does Marvel start putting out good CGI? Well, I think they just need to make less projects. Take a look at Phase 5. You have movies like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Ant-Man Quantumania, and Captain America New World Order. And you have shows like Secret Invasion, Loki Season 2, and Ironheart, which I think are worth being made. But you also have things like Echo and Agatha Coven of Chaos, which quite frankly, I don't think anyone cares about. No one asked for an Agatha show. So I think they should just remove all these extra shows and only make the things that really matter and that the fans would be interested in. So Marvel, I leave you on this. Slow down. take it easy. And that's it for the video. So if you enjoyed and want me to be your movie news guy, then like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.